Hello, beautiful girl. This is Katie. I'm your dating and relationship coach, and I help women attract and keep high quality men and have their dream relationship and feel like the adored woman they want to feel. So in today's video, I'm going to cover why you keep attracting emotionally unavailable guys. It's my firm belief that what we notice about men and their behaviors is actually a reflection, a mirror to what is going on internally within us. So if you notice yourself having a pattern of attracting and having relationships with emotionally unavailable people, that means men who may be on a rebound or are not over their ex or just are afraid to commit, are very hesitant to commit, and it always feels like just pulling teeth, trying to get them into a committed relationship with you, and it always just seems so hard. Okay, if you notice that pattern, then that's a signal that you internally are also emotionally unavailable. And you just want to ask yourself, how could this be true? How is it true that I am emotionally unavailable? Okay, because chances are very good that you are also emotionally unavailable. So now some of you will be baffled by this. Okay, I have coached some women who they are so adamant. I want a relationship. I'm ready for a relationship. I know all the reasons why having a relationship would be wonderful and great. And I was like this too. Okay, I knew for a good year or so, I wanted a relationship. I knew all the reasons why I wanted a relationship, all the benefits of a relationship. I thought I was ready for a relationship. And yet, I kept attracting emotionally unavailable people. I kept, for some reason, having connections with these men that are emotionally unavailable, and a relationship with them was almost impossible. It just would never get off the ground. Okay, so I want you, if this is you, I want to speak to you. Okay. So if we go with the idea that our thoughts create our feelings and our actions, which it does, okay, always does, then you have one thought that you're conscious of. Okay, it's that I want a relationship, I'm ready for a relationship. But then you notice your actions are not quite aligning with that thought, right? That I want a relationship, because if you really wanted a relationship, you would go towards men who also wanted a relationship, who also are emotionally available for a relationship, right? Logically speaking, that's what you would do. But if you're not doing that, okay, if your actions don't align with this thought, that means you have another thought that's driving that action. You have another counter thought. And the counter thought is, I'm not ready for a relationship. Okay, now a lot of us think the conscious thought, the one we're aware of, should be the one that manifests, our actions and creates what we want, right? We're taught this through positive affirmations and beliefs, positive beliefs and things like that, and like law of attraction, right? But actually, our unconscious thought, our unconscious beliefs have a much more powerful hold on us. They're much more powerful, especially if you notice your actions are not aligning with your conscious thought, right? If you're telling yourself, I don't want a cookie, and then you go watch yourself grab a cookie, you have a much more powerful thought that is, I do want a cookie, and I'm gonna get that cookie. Okay, so we just be aware of this is how it works, how our mind works. So how do we fix this? Okay, the solution is very simple. If you have two opposing thoughts and the more powerful one is winning out, and we know it's winning out because you're taking action from that place, you're embodying that belief much more powerfully than the conscious thought, then the solution then is to make the unconscious thought conscious. Okay, we need to acknowledge it. We need to make friends with it, right? Say hello and make friends with it. Take it out to dinner. Acknowledge it. Okay, don't push it away. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend it's not there. okay? Because that's where it draws all of its power, by staying unconscious. So let's say you bring that belief up to the surface, and that belief is, I don't want a relationship, or I'm not ready for a relationship, okay? Now, in order to make friends with it, you want to understand it, right? So then you want to ask yourself, why do I believe this? You want to bring up all the reasons why you don't feel ready. Why all the reasons you believe this thought, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'd rather not have a relationship. Bring it all up to the surface. Okay, and you want to start looking at it as, okay, if I'm believing this, and I am, because I'm taking action from this place, how is this belief affecting how I'm showing up in dating, how I choose men, how I have relationships with men? How is it showing up? And chances are it'll show up from the very beginning in all kinds of ways. So I'll give you an example. Me personally, right? I had a pattern of attracting emotionally unavailable men. And I noticed this after 3 or 4 times this happened. I was like, something's going on with me. need to check this out, to investigate. So I would ask myself, okay, why am I choosing these men? And there was always a moment in the really early stages when I first met them. There was a condition that had to be in place, which was, the condition was, all these men were didn't live near me, right? Their base was somewhere far away. That was a condition, and I knew that from the beginning. Okay, or I knew I was gonna be moving or leaving. That was also a condition too, that I knew, and that he knew. We both knew this condition, we were gonna be separated at some point in the future. So interestingly, that I felt myself wanting to, being attracted to them, wanting to still get to know them, wanting to talk to them more, right? Feeling all this chemistry and all this connection with them. And even after they said, they just got out of a relationship, and they gave these little red flags that they weren't quite emotionally available, it's like I didn't care. It's like I ignored all of them. Oh, it's fine, because I felt like I understood them, right? I could connect with them on that. I was like, I also feel a little bit bitter about my previous relationships. So I was like, we're bonding over our baggage, right, from the past. And it made me feel closer to them, and made me want them and yearn for them and desire them so much more, right? So I noticed that pattern, and I was like, no wonder. It wasn't so much like I was attracting them. I was attracted to them for the very reason. The reason was they were emotionally unavailable from the beginning. And that's why I was attracted to them. So that attraction to them came because I felt it was safer to open up to them. I felt it was safer to invest, because I guess in my mind, I thought if they were fully available and they're local and emotionally available, then there would be a high chance I was going to get into the relationship with them. And then there was a high chance I would have to be vulnerable, and I would have to spend all this time with them, and I have to actually develop something real with them. And that felt very, very uncomfortable to me, even though, intellectually I wanted that, but emotionally that felt very, very uncomfortable to me, and I didn't understand why. I didn't investigate it. I just knew I felt uncomfortable for whatever reason. So I moved towards the thing that felt comfortable, which was emotionally unavailable men. Okay, so once I paid attention to that pattern and I understood it, right, then at that point I was like, okay, the reason that felt uncomfortable was because of my past, right, my ex, and all the negative stuff about relationships came up for me from past baggage. And I had to really acknowledge that and come to peace with that and feel there's some kind of resolve to that, right? So then next time, right, knowing that was my pattern and why I was creating that for myself, I made a decision I was no longer going to do that. And that's how you want to approach it. You just want to tell yourself the truth, once you recognize your own pattern. Okay, once you recognize, oh, I keep going towards these kind of men because it feels safer, feels easier in some way, more comfortable. Okay, then you have a decision. Do I want to keep repeating this, or do I want to do something different? Do I actually want a relationship? Because I know for me choosing a relationship and taking action towards having a relationship required me to be uncomfortable. Okay, and I had to just like go through that negotiation with myself. Okay, am I gonna really choose this path? Because this path meant I was going towards discomfort on purpose, right? And making that decision consciously. And that's what I want you to do, ladies. I want you to make that decision consciously with intention instead of unconsciously, because that's where you lose all of your power. Okay? So what I did was I chose, of course, I wanted the relationship. I wanted to move towards discomfort. Okay? Made that decision, and that's exactly what I did. Right? When I met my husband, I was in that space. And he moved towards me. I felt uncomfortable. I felt my body wanting to turn away. I wanted to distance myself. I wanted to be like, oh, this is how it feels so awkward. like it's too much. And my whole body wanting to do that. And I deliberately said no. No, I've decided ahead of time I was going to move towards discomfort, move towards him to see if a real relationship was possible. And I chose that. Okay, because I made that decision ahead of time, right? And made it consciously. So that's why I was able to finally break that cycle. So you can see how powerful it is when we become aware, like being conscious of what we're doing and why we're doing it helps us make a more conscious decision. Okay. So again, like anything else, don't just consume this video, actually do the steps. If this is an issue that you also have, at least go inward and really question it and decide, okay? And if you have trouble deciding, you can certainly book a call with me and consider doing some one-on-one coaching with me. Sometimes it helps to talk it out with someone else, talk it out with a coach and a professional. So if you would like to do that, if that sounds like something that you're interested in, you can book a call with me. You can just go to the description below for that. And I will be back with more videos. So if you like this video and you like my channel, please like me, give me a thumbs up, leave me some comments, some feedback, and I will be back with more soon.